order the City of Norman Board of Parks Commissioners meeting for Thursday, September 5th, 2024. First, we'll have roll call. Billy Davison.
Here.
Chrissy Isaacson.
Here.
Elizabeth Ross.
Here.
Mary Salee is supposed to be coming. I'm present. Ellen will be absent, and Christy Wright. Here. Okay. First item, agenda item, consideration of approval, rejection, amended, and/or postponement of the minutes as follows. Board of Park Commissioner meeting minutes of May 2nd, 2024. Is there a motion?
A motion to approve?
Second? Billy Davidson, okay. Discussion items, number 2, consideration of approval.
Need to vote.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I'm ready to go. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Second item, consideration, approval, acceptance, rejection, amendment, and/or postponement of previously approved city council items.
All right, I'll go over those real quick. Give you a real quick breakdown. August 13th, we did a donation, in-kind donation that's worth $23,855 for an additional mural to go out at the Firehouse Art Center. This one, I think y'all saw, it would be on the south portion of the house, the firehouse. Item 11, it was just a contract with Crossings Construction, closing out the municipal complex, which is Building C. It's our old office. It now is HRIT. Once again, that gets thrown under us because we are building maintenance. Yay, parks. Item 17, you see right there, K23-125, a closeout and final payment for Happy Playgrounds at Sunrise Park. With a final payment of $220,000. That is the full cost of the playground. On the August 27th council meeting, we did a donation in kind once again at the Reeves Park building through the Boys and Girls Club for $30,610. That's a kitchen renovation, which they're going to use for their teen club that's going to open up out there in the near future. Item 22, K2425, Multi Sports LLC. That's for pickleball courts out at the Young Family Athletic Center. We did use hotel motel tax to build those. Much needed. First of all, we had a master plan out there at the YFAC that was outdoor plan, got approved by you guys and the ad hoc committee, and also that became a priority with the 12th Avenue courts being overused and not being friendly with neighbors.
Yeah, we saw those rules last week.
So hopefully that will provide some relief over there and it won't be as noisy at night. Contract 242543 with the Performing Arts Studio, an amount of $50,700. That is just a little bit of bump out there, and I don't remember what the former amount was, but it was, I believe it was $25,000. So we probably did a little bit more than 100% raise out there for the Santa Fe Train Depot. They do provide hospitality services for people coming on and off the Amtrak train over there, provide coffee and give them directions around town, and that's a service that we require them to offer through our contract. They haven't had a bump in that in several years, so it's just a cost of living raise bump to make sure that we can have that underpaid volunteer, as I would call him, semi-volunteer, to make sure that he would stay out there and do it for the next few years. Any questions on any of those?
We don't have to approve those. Okay.
Nope, unless you want to.
It's just a discussion item. Okay, action items, so we will have to approve these. Number 3, consideration of adoption, rejection, amendment, and/or postponement of the request from Deborah Goit to install a telephone of the wind in Ruby Grant Park.
Deborah, you're up.
Oh, okay.
Bethany, can you do a quick intro?
Yeah, a quick intro, sure. I can't remember how we did it for, the Saxon Prairie. That was the last project in the park we brought to y'all. So this is just another citizen proposed project in the park for Ruby Grant. She's got a great presentation prepared for y'all, and we've been in discussion for about 2 months preparing this for y'all. So
I tried to hit, it's based on my son-in-law that passed away August 10th, and so I tried to hit it and I wasn't able to, so, but anyway. It started back in 2010, a gentleman, his cousin had terminal cancer, and he used to talk to him on the phone a lot. And so he ended up passing away, and he built one on his property. Oh, there you go. And so that was the way that he thought he could continue grieving for his cousin. So they had a big tsunami in 2011. His town was hit and devastating, and he ended up opening it up to him, and over 30,000, and people still go there to this day. But anyway, they're all over the United States, this one, and they're all unique to the person that made them. That one's in Michigan, Vermont in a memorial garden, Pittsburgh, Ohio, then just in the mountains of Maine and Washington, just all different ones. This is an old map. I just found one today, so it wasn't a part of it. But they're all over the United States and other countries and everything. So I'd like to put it in Ruby Grant. It would be the first one in Oklahoma. I can go on to the website, register it. It will be known, so anybody that's looking for them, they can see it. It's on the map. So we found a place in the shade, so it will have shade in the morning and shade at night, and it will be out of the weather for the most part. But we found a really good spot. So this is ours, and it's going to have a walnut bench that will sit in front of it. So hopefully the little ones can, get up there and get on it themselves. But kind of like what I touched on, and my son-in-law passed away on August 23rd, or August 10th, my birthday and my oldest birthday. But my grandson, we have pasture behind us, and my grandson's the one that kind of got me looking into other ways to grieve. We'll go out in the pasture, and he'll pretend that we're at his dad's house, and he'll pretend he's on the phone, and that got me to thinking about this. I just didn't want him to lose. He know that there's other ways to grieve. So turned around and came up with this. These are just pictures of, he loved disc golf. That was why we picked Ruby Grant, because he loved playing disc golf over there. My grandson loves the park. So that was another reason. But his whole family's behind it, and I believe that's it. I don't know what else to say, but it means a lot. I've thought that we all have mental issues nowadays, whether it's grieving or whatever, and we need a different outlet sometimes, that we can just pick up a phone. And I don't know how many times I've wanted to do that, to talk to Colton or talk to my mom. But so anyway, that's where I'd like to put it.
So is that one picture they said this is ours, is that actually the one?
Yes,
That is it, okay.
that is it. And it does say, I will read to you, I didn't have this on there, but that plaque, it says this
And that's
phone.
included in your books, the plaque.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
That's
we
the
have,
actual
we have a what?
Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't need to
talks
read
about
that.
one phone, yeah.
So, but yes, that is basically what it's gonna be. We'll put the posts and I'll cement them in, and then the same thing will be, the legs for the bench will be bolted on there, and cemented into the ground. And I think,
Yeah, we offered to help her do the install as well as pour a pad around it afterwards for ease of access and maintenance, so we're not hitting it with mowers or knocking it, yeah, so.
Who's responsible to maintain it if it's vandalized?
It's by the agreement.
It's part of the agreement for
So
the
she
project
did-
in the park,
okay, so
yes.
it's one of the things that they have to fill out an agreement
Yes.
then, okay.
And I've got to where, you know, that backboard, if anything's damaged on it, it's really easy for me to go and replace the pieces or whatever. So, and I will definitely go there. I'll take my grandson there, and then we have a lot of, we're gonna do, the dedication, and because he was in disc golf, we have a lot of different websites, and so there's a lot of people that go out there. They are willing to also keep an eye on it and let me know if anything is wrong with it.
Nice.
So
And so it is a phone that you can actually
you
pick up
can't.
the
No,
no. Oh, okay.
no. It basically.
So they can pick up the handset, right?
You can pick up the
Yes,
handset.
that's what I meant.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Thank
you
you.
can
Yeah,
pick
it
up the
doesn't go
handset and you can dial it and all that. Or you can push the buttons or whatever, and, but yeah, it's just, you just talk into the wind.
So do you pick up phones at garage sales or something, like when you see them, or did you have?
No, I
donation?
bought this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I spent a lot on that, but I've had a lot of help too from some of my friends that did the etching. I had a donation for the walnut bench, and so I have a lot of family and friends that have helped me put this together as well.
I think it's an awesome idea.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
I didn't even know things were out here like this. So,
I didn't
mean,
either, and that's when I was trying to find outlets for my grandson for grieving, and you know, I was just telling him, hey, you can just stand outside and yell at him. So that's what we would do in the pasture. We would just yell and talk to him or whatever. But he mentioned something. I wish I could just call Daddy, you know. So then when I started researching and looking on the internet, this is what I came up with and who I found it, and thought it'd be great for everybody.
Yeah. So is this red dot on our map?
That is the location
Okay.
between holes 15 and 16. The
Okay.
cross-country trail does not go down to that area, so we're not gonna be interfering with any cross-country runners. It's just right off the gravel trail, right when you exit 15 and go to hole 16.
Any other questions or comments? Do I have a motion to approve the park board to approve the telephone of the wind project in the park?
I so moved.
Christine, second.
I'll say it.
Elizabeth Ross has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. So moved then.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for allowing me
Appreciate you
to
sharing.
present this, and
Yes.
I hope you all be able to get a chance to see it.
Thank you for the idea.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on our agenda, annual presentation from Sooner Theater.
It's been a day.
But now I'm crying.
I know. I
I
said,
know.
oh my goodness.
Follow that, Jennifer.
How can I have tears in a meeting like this?
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Hi. I feel like we were just here.
Well, you were in
It's been a year.
costume last time.
I was in costume last time, yes. Yeah, thank y'all so much. It's always a fun time to come and talk about the Sooner Theater. Did everyone receive, of course, it's last year, it's the last fiscal year's report. So I thought since you already had this in your hands, maybe we could just talk about some things that are going on currently. And if you have questions about the old, we can answer your questions. But I thought I would go ahead and talk a little bit about some fun things going on. We've been in kind of the dreamer stage. Jason, I'm gonna go there. James, they know. You know, this theater was built in 1929 as a movie theater. I know most of you probably know that, but if there's someone new that doesn't. There were a few vaudeville performers that would apparently, according to Andy Rieger, they would get off at the depot and they would get off the train, and there was a tunnel, according to Andy Rieger, that went under, and we've looked for the tunnel, we're gonna find it. It would go under Main Street and it'd come up at the stage door at the Sooner Theater. And so these famous vaudeville performers didn't want to see the crowds, so they would get off the train, go down the stairs to the tunnel, come over and come up to the stage door to do performances. So I think when, in the basement, it's sometime, I would love to have this meeting over there sometime so you can see all this, but there is a thing, like, it looks like there was a cutout at the bottom of the stairs in the basement. And there's a mirror hanging on it now, but we swear that's where the tunnel entrance went. I mean, I kind of believe it, and Andy thinks, oh, I saw the blue, I did all the research, I know what happened, I was like, okay. So, anyway, I don't think that the architect ever intended for live performance to happen at the Sooner Theater. How many have been on that stage or walked backstage? Have any of you? Okay, 4 of you. It's wing space on the sides is it's very limited. We could stand here and do this, and that's probably about where the curtains start to block the backstage, to go on stage. So it was definitely created as a movie theater and not as a performing arts space. But I will tell you what, we are killing it with these shows and coming up with ideas and how to put a set on stage that won't fit in the wings. A challenge has always been, we're building on that stage. We're building the sets on that stage and not in a scene shop. So there's 4 or 5 weeks out of your year just for that one production. And if you're doing 9 productions, it really takes up the entire calendar just to build. And then there's wear and tear of the beautiful place. Now I know y'all take incredible care of the theater, but how many times can we get a new grand drape because sawdust or paint or something has hit it, you know? So I think everyone's done an incredible job on our part of making it work as a scene shop. And then they know the alarm goes off at a certain time. You got to clean up before rehearsal gets in there because you can't have power tools out while rehearsal's going on. So it's been a maze. Well, the last, let me see, I've been there 22 years, 20, some long time. And there's always been this dream of maybe having more space, but where does that come from? You'd have to just go up, or you'd have to talk someone into giving up Sergio's in the back, or, you know, you have to go east where Mr. Roberts' furniture is. Well, so it became a joke with Mr. Roberts. Hey, could that someday be the Sooner Theater space? You know, there's just the sales strip, just where the $13,000 couches are sold, not the others, you know, just the little strip. We just want the strip. So it's always been a joke, but also a dream. So with the help of Jason and James and many others and different council members that have come by and looked, that dream, it's starting to get some feet. And I don't know if y'all have heard any rumblings. Last year at this meeting, I started talking a little bit about conversations with Mr. Roberts. They're not ready to give it up. They're not ready. But I want to tell you really quick, in case I'm saying it again, I just want to tell you, 2 years ago, we took this group to Atlanta. We always take, every year we take a group of kids to the Junior Theater Festival. And there was a singer doing a concert, and I didn't want to go to the concert. Music, I hadn't been listening to music, nothing was inspiring me. I just wanted to stay in my hotel room and watch Steve Harvey. And I thought, I can't do that. The kids and the parents, they need to see their leader attending this with them.
It's called Family Feud.
Family Feud, my favorite show. And so I went, and I cried through the whole thing. It was the most incredible concert. I mean, kids were like, what's wrong? I'm like, it's so good. So a few days later, in the middle of murder mystery rehearsals, I'm laying awake at night, like 2 a.m, and I go ahead and I send a private message to that artist. Her name's Allie Stroker, by the way. She played Ado Annie in the new Broadway version of Oklahoma. Phenomenal. So I said, I know you'll never see this, thinking she would never see it. And I just wrote out this whole thing, how it was life-changing. I didn't want to listen to music anymore. And all of a sudden, I'm crying through your whole concert. I just wanted to thank you, blah, blah, blah. She answered me back. And I was like, oh my gosh. So we talked about it. And then I said, how the heck can I get you to the Sooner Theater? And she's like, name the time. Well, she was filming for Ozark, you know, that series on she was filming at that time, and she's like, let's figure it out. So I got all excited. I went to Murder Mysteries. I was like, oh, James, it's gonna happen. And then I panicked because she's in a wheelchair. Remember?
Yes.
Well, then we ended up having 2 students in a wheelchair last year. And so everything was just kind of rushed. It's like there's an urgency now that we need to make some changes. And I know it's an old historic building, but there are people that know how to make it happen. And we've started conversations, and I really believe in my whole heart this is gonna happen. We were invited to the next Norman Forward meeting. That was an incredible meeting, by the way. It was full of hope, and it didn't feel like just dreaming. It really felt like this could happen. So thank you for that. I don't know who all's involved and how many people know what's happening, but we're feeling so positive and so hopeful. And I know Mr. Roberts, they're not ready, but they're like, it will not go to anyone else but the city. I mean, they're just not there yet. They're almost there. So anyway, I'm kind of leading with that because, as I said last year, growth is great until you can't contain it. So we have the ADA, even though you can watch a show in a wheelchair, we've done a great job adding the ramp and doing all those things. You just can't be in a show or use the dressing rooms. So if all this happens, we've got accessible dressing rooms. We would have accessible office space. We would have accessible bathrooms, a scene shop for the first time. We wouldn't have to build on stage. That would open up weekends. So community renters, if they wanted to get in the theater, you know, they're always griping, you don't have any open space. No, we don't. We have 1,276 kids. We can't even get them all on stage. So I think all this is going to take care of so many problems, so many challenges. So I wanted to lead with that last year it was just a dream, and now it's got feet, and even had an initial meeting or 2, and thank you. It's huge. So with all of that, we are currently in the middle of enrollment, which numbers are outrageous again. So we're just kind of hoping we can figure out where to put everyone. We were able to add this year another special needs class. So we have a Down syndrome class called Sooner Legends, and we've just added another one for another age group. As well as yesterday, was that yesterday or today? My days and nights run together. We had an interview with Sooner Works was that today? From the University of Oklahoma, and we now have a special needs work study student from the University of Oklahoma. And she is excited and ready to, she's gonna join the Down syndrome class, as well as she's gonna work with us during the week on Thursdays. So we're super excited. That was a fun thing. We've been holding auditions for days and days and days. The turnout for Into the Woods and A Christmas Story starring James Briggs. It was quite a turnout, and people are excited. We have Lucas Ross from reprising his role as well in A Christmas Story. But Into the Woods, it's fun because the directors for these 2 productions were former students years ago, and then they went on and done Broadway and tours and everything else. And now they're back as directors. It's really fun. So for Into the Woods, we're bringing that director back from New York. So everyone's really excited about that. We're getting ready for our Voice of the Heartland, which is a huge fundraiser. And if you don't know about that, it's September 16th and 17th. It is a vocal competition that Hal Smith and Hal Smith Restaurant Group sponsor. It was really Hal's brainchild. I just ran with it. But he said, we ought to do some kind of Oklahoma's Got Talent. I was like, well, I think they have one of those, but let's find another name. So we called it Voice of the Heartland. And it has become a really special event. We're now doing it just every other year. But Tuesday night, September 17th, if you want a fun night with the Oklahoma Opry Band and Hal Smith food, fun auction items that are actually affordable for normal people to buy. And then we've got some African safaris and things like that. But all that money that we raise on that event is really special because if you look at our numbers of scholarships we provided this year, last year, or the year before when this was written, last fiscal year, it was almost 40,000 in scholarships. And this past year, we gave 61,000 in scholarships. So this fundraiser is dedicated to scholarships and scholarships only. So it's a big deal for us because we do have that philosophy that we're never turning away a child because they can't afford it. We're just not gonna do it. Arts have to be accessible to all kids, and I always tell my personal story, and I've told it probably every year that we've talked about scholarships. I was the scholarship kid here in Norman. And like I've told you before, my first acting class ever was City of Norman Parks and Rec at the Rotary House. And I was a scholarship kid. And so if it weren't for people providing scholarships, I don't know where I would be today. So imagine when there's how many that asked for them last year? 200 and
We gave 286.
286 kids wanting, scholarships. So there's a hunger for it. So it's important, this fundraiser, as well as our annual murder mystery starring James Briggs. It's important that we raise that money to make that up. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, we've been a part of this AIM committee. I'll try not to talk much longer, but I wanted to say thank you for including us in the AIM committee. Just the meetings and the subcommittees, and I've learned so much from it, and it's really been an honor to be a part of it. And now I'm taking some of the stuff I learned in that AIM committee, and we're going to use it in our next board meeting, our board retreat that's coming up. It just all kind of trickles down, so it's helping the Sooner Theater just from being a part of that. So thank you guys for including us. And I think I'm going to skip the rest because I know you've probably got questions, but I just want to give you a little heads up on things that we're doing and things that are happening right now. And, if you get a chance, I know everyone's busy, but we're so proud of our shows. We're so proud of the quality. Yes, it's community theater, but we do equity contracts sometimes. That's where you go through the Actors Union and you can bring in someone that's had a Broadway credit or something. And but even without that, we've got some amazing talent. We've got people coming in. I haven't told you this, James, but people are signed up auditioned from Chickasha. They're going to drive that every night to come be a part of our rehearsals. We're just reaching people from Guthrie and Edmond and Shawnee, and they want to be a part. And the shows are good. The quality's really good. So if you get a chance, who you can call if you want to come see a show. We'll get you in because we just want you to get to know us better if you have a chance. But I know everyone's evented out. There's never any time. So, but just know, I think this is going to be a really special year. So, any questions on this or anything going on that I know we're just supposed to give you some highlights and I talk way too much. So, questions?
Do you have a schedule of the upcoming?
Well,
We're working on getting it printed, but it is all on our website.
Is it okay?
At SoonerTheater.org.
and if you're interested in Voice of the Heartland, that's voiceoftheheartland.org.
It's on our website.
That's on the website too. So, we're not doing as many adult productions as we used to do. We're doing 2 plus the murder mystery. Because there's just so many kids. We've got to find a place. Everyone needs their time. And we just have to find a way to get everyone on stage at some point. And it just takes weekends. This class needs this weekend, this class needs this weekend, and that means there's build time before that. And
I have questions.
good. I love questions.
And I realize that the timing is, I understand the lag in timing. But weren't you looking for an auditor when you were here last year? And did you find one?
Yeah,
And
we did.
Is that what's kind of some of the numbers are different this year? Is
Yeah,
that
let me tell you. We did. We finally found a new auditor, and they dumped us last week.
Oh.
We've gone through 3 since COVID. Well, and it brings up. I'm shaking because a lot of our funding from some of the foundations, they're like, they've been great. They're helping us too, try to find someone. We think we've got some ideas, but it's different. It's not just like, here, go in this office and look at this company and let's audit your book. It's different. And I don't know if theater scares them and they don't get it.
Unicorn.
I know, I'm like, what is going on? But Yes, and we also went to online QuickBooks for the first time.
Gotcha.
And that is still right now trying to transfer some reports over that aren't exact to what we had. So
It's not the best for nonprofits, it's a
We're-
challenge.
we're hiring someone to come in and train. We have, our board right now is made up of educators and accountants.
Okay,
So,
good.
we have three from Ide Bailey on our board.
You have people that can help.
And they're working on it constantly. We look at things, we're like, whoa, okay. And the audit, the audit's the big deal right now.
So was that part of the big professional fees that jumped, it was like $14,000 of professional fees in
Yes.
the printed year,
Probably.
but that was,
Yes, she did an initial audit, and that was the majority of those fees. And then she was starting our second
Gotcha.
audit, and then they lost staff.
gotcha,
So
that was
I mean, that's what they
that.
told us. They didn't have enough people.
Yeah. Did y'all get, from the prior year to this year, did you get a new employee also? And I just forgot you guys telling me that.
Yes, we lost, we were hiring for our set designer. We lost our set designer.
Okay, got it.
And so what we did, instead of hiring a full-time set designer, which really can't find anyone,
Yeah.
we're hiring 2 part-time. So we just in the last few weeks hired a part-time social media and marketing coordinator. And then we met with the university yesterday about some ideas on a set designer that may just have to come in by the show,
Right,
which is hard
yeah.
without that consistency, but the
Better than
OU was
none.
having trouble finding people.
Yeah.
Lyric theater had trouble all year. They're like, we don't know,
Mhm.
they're just not, they're not around
Yeah.
with that skill set. So, and we can't really afford to bring someone in from a big city, can't afford
Yeah,
that
no.
salary, so,
For community theater.
for a
I
community
know,
theater.
right? And then there were several sort of opposite things in the balance sheet. And was that part of from audit adjustments possibly, like accounts receivables and negative, which looks like you owe somebody instead of they owe you, and there's in-kind with time restrictions is a pretty large number. And then there's discounts discounts on your loans.
Yeah, I don't know if that's from the move to on the, like nothing
Yes.
transferred correctly.
So you're still cleaning things up?
Oh, yeah,
Meaning-
like we're having to hire someone to come in and,
That's part of that,
Please.
okay.
So
because they're usually,
it's really, we did pay off some loans
Oh,
in
nice.
22, 23.
Nice.
I believe it was then that we paid those off. So there are some loans that have been paid off. But the only loan we currently have is the mortgage
Oh,
on
fantastic.
the
studio.
studio space.
Fantastic, kudos.
Probably that didn't transfer over to
Mhm.
online well.
No, it doesn't,
No,
okay.
it's all fun.
Well, especially since that's not owned by the city, is it your studio space?
Yes,
Right.
so
It's
that
kind of a
loan has
separate
been-
operation.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
but it's,
all the same folks.
it's hard to, this is supposed to make our lives easier, the online QuickBooks. And it's
It's
been,
not good for a charity.
it's been tough.
Yeah.
So we're
We're
just,
working on
we're
it.
just
But you've got,
hoping.
you have people not being
Yes.
on your board, so
Yeah.
they would have
They're,
advised you.
they're working on it.
They knew, yeah, I
It's-
just it. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
we,
You're very welcome.
Good luck.
we knew that they're wonky, but
That's all, that makes sense. That's all I need to know.
So basically, the money you're making from the studio is helping cover the expenses in
everything.
everything.
There are a lot of people that think we're just a children's theater. It's crazy. We're not. We've got great adult programs they rival a lot that you'll see in the area, but the children's programs keep everything going.
And that's the studio portion.
Yes.
Any-
It's not two separate. I mean, we have the separate space, but it's one organization. It's just 2 locations, if that makes sense.
Well, I was just
It's all
looking
the
over
same.
here, you've got the budget accrual for, this is the studio of the Sooner Theater, and they made $101,000, and then I go over here to the balance sheet of the Sooner Theater, and it's a negative.
Yeah,
It's all the same, it's all,
And when this report was written, where the cash comes in, the flow of it, yeah, it's confusing, but it is just one organization. So we just have different accounts set up. Our board asked for, and the auditor asked for a separate sheet on every program, you know, and it's, maybe that's why they quit us. But anything you can think of, Jason, anything you can think of? I tried to rush through the dream quickly, but
Now, she's talking about Norman Ford too. There is a small committee of, kind of like the original Norman Ford started, a group of people that's meeting and they've met with a bunch of groups, including all the arts groups. Amy was there with the historical house as well. And city-owned arts groups and this discussions, and they're trying to throw everything in a pot, and eventually they'll try to do some public meetings and get input and rank all those community needs and find out what everybody wants. But, you know, just from a parks department, we're rooting for our own facilities to get good investments next go around.
Is that the AIM
it's
committee?
exciting.
No, that's
It's a completely different one.
But the arts and culture have been a part of the AIM.
Right,
It was added to it, so it's just been fun to have a seat at the table. Because sometimes you feel like arts people just think, oh, that's your hobby, go sing and dance. Well, no, it's a skill set, and we're making a living, and we're an economic driver in this town. And, you know, our mission says we're changing lives, and we see it every day, these kids. I mean, it's hard sometimes, but I think just, like I said, to have a seat at the table finally, this is huge. So we are grateful.
We're not just a sports city, right?
I got a hat this year, because I'm not very sporty, but it says, like, what did it call today? It was like Act 2 at the ball game. Act 2, after intermission. What's that called? The other quarter.
Third quarter.
But I got a new hat, and it's crimson. It looks like OU, but it says Yay Sports. Yay Sports. Anyway, thank y'all so much
Thank you.
for all you do, and
Kudos to
it's just a busy time right now, but it's all good. It's all good. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 5, annual presentation from Moore Lindsay Historical Museum.
Alright, that's me. So, since Jennifer brought it up, I'll start out with saying I went to the Norman Forward meeting and went home and cried. I was so excited. So, we don't have a specific dreams yet, other than accessibility space parking. So nothing, I guess the parking is a little specific, but the other things are just, we know how to answer yet, but we're working on it. But it's never even been a question I should look at and try to answer, because there was no way to make it happen. So being able to even just answer or ask the question is kind of life-changing. So thank you. Yes, that just the idea of the opportunities is kind of mind-blowing. So like Jennifer, I am not going to go through my whole report, but I've got a couple of highlights I pulled out just to point out on our programming, and I'm going to try to do this really quickly because I know you guys don't want to be here all night. So you'll see in our programming, you may notice that we are cutting back on our exhibits and focusing more on micro exhibits, but primarily on events, because the exhibits are not drawing people in. Other than the one exhibit we had on Norman as a sundown town, I might get 2 or 3 people per exhibit who say they came just for that, whereas the events take a lot less on the front end to make happen, and they bring in a lot more people. So that's where we're kind of shifting our attention. Our educational programs, I think it was not last year's meeting, but the year before, we had just added our first adult class. And now we are doing, we did 18 adult classes in the last year. So that program is taking off. We are hunting for more teachers. If anybody knows anyone who does any sort of old-fashioned handicraft sort of thing, send them my way. And then our children's classes, as Jennifer said, they're the backbone, they're what bring people in. So we're planning on expanding our summer camp offering again this coming year because we filled everything this year thereabouts. So everything's going really well. And because those classes went so well, we expected for this budget to bring in about $4,000 from our classes, and we brought in $11,000. So I think it's doing well, better than expected. Our visitor numbers are about the same as last year. I think maybe just a touch down. Yeah, a couple hundred. So we were at about 1,650 this year. But the percentage of our visitors that are coming for events is of course going up. And then for private rentals and things, that people hosting community meetings in the house, that has also gone up, which is exciting to get more people knowing that we're there and we're a space you can use and things like that. Let's see, what else did I have? Oh, our NAC grant is really exciting for this year. Last year we got $6,300. This year we're getting $20,000. And a huge portion of that is gonna go towards advertising because I don't want to hear every week, I've lived in Norman 20 years and never walked in the doors anymore. I'm ready for us to hit all of those people now. So we're gonna bump our advertising and also try to use some of the money to pay teachers for new classes and things like that. So that is exciting as well. Otherwise, our budget looks very, very similar to last year's budget. I will point out the other grants as projected income on the next year's, or I guess 24-25 current year's budget. I noticed today for some reason I only put 13,000. I'm guessing that that is because the second half of the grant will be reimbursed in the next fiscal year. But I couldn't remember if that was exactly why that number is different than I expected. So I can dig into that if anybody is interested, but I believe that's what it is. And then that is all I have other than saying, if you haven't seen the new paint job, go drive by because it's beautiful. We tweaked the yellow just a little bit to be closer to what the descendants of the Lindsay family remember it being in their childhood, which was not as far back as we'd like, 60s, I think, 50s maybe, but closest we could get. So we've got, it's just gorgeous. And the carriage house is painted to match, same color scheme, first time I've ever seen it like that. It's beautiful. So thank you to all of the work Parks put into making that happen and for putting up with me while I was being annoyed by painters and then in turn annoying you all, so. But it's beautiful. It is absolutely stunning. I had a descendant of the family come by today, actually. Not one who was involved in the whole color thing, but he was like, I've never seen it look this good.
It's a very detailed paint job.
Oh.
Was it 7 colors? 6. Okay.
So, and I believe the last time that we had painted, we had painters on site for about 6 weeks. And that was probably about 12, 15 years ago. This time we cut it down to about 4.5 weeks. So we cut off 3 days. But it took a long time, and it was some portions that were painful, but we pulled through, and it looks beautiful.
And next time we'll just close instead of trying to work around it. We tried to just be open Friday, Saturday, not realizing they were planning on also painting weekends, and we were just bumping into each other constantly. But it was worth it. It's gorgeous. I couldn't be more pleased. So. Does anybody have any questions about
How many parking spaces are over there?
We only have 2. We also have the alley where people can park as long as it can be, still used as an alley. And there's one street space that I don't think is that technically a parking space? I didn't think so, but it gets used as one.
You have the back road off Beale Street too.
Yes, we have the back gravel drive that's for staff and volunteers, so we're not taking up the 2 spaces, but.
So a lot of your attendance is, you're really restricted on, if there's no place to put a parking lot in there.
Well,
There is that triangle grassy lot across the alley is city owned as well, it's part of the property, and I think there's already plans.
We have a design for I think 8-car parking lot over there, or maybe 10-car. parking lot will fit in that triangle off the alley, because we 100% own that. We just don't have any funding to build it yet. We ask every year, but doesn't always.
When the library opens back up, they're very good about letting us, send people to their parking for our big events. But generally,
what I
we
was
just
kinda
kind of have to
wondering
make do. And yeah, I'm interested to see what Christmas does this year because that's our biggest for parking.
Is that parking lot still up by the skate park, or did that get?
That's gone.
That's gone, okay.
And that's the type of thing when you're talking about a future bond election like North Forward too, would hopefully go in there and clean that up and modernize some things. And there's some foundation issues we'd eventually like to get fixed and add a parking lot and so on, so on. I'm sure there's more on her list that I don't know about, but.
I'm sure there is.
So when you say triangle, is it that one that's that little park or is it a different triangle you're
No,
talking about?
it's directly across the alley. Like you're looking
It's
at the
just
house,
north.
it's that empty lot there
Okay,
on
gotcha,
that
gotcha,
faces
gotcha.
the street.
Yeah.
So we would
Yeah,
enter,
not the
it's
park,
that triangle.
no.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was like, what triangle?
It's between,
Like a
okay,
picture in my
it's
head.
to the,
That's what I was thinking of it. No, I knew.
She showed you.
Got it right. Oh yeah, there's cars in there in that photo. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
people park in the grass sometimes during their events.
Yeah, we do get a parking variance from NPD to get permission to park in the grass there whenever we have a big
Okay.
event coming up, so that we know nobody's gonna get ticketed and
Okay.
it's all above board, but we only do that for the big stuff, cause I don't wanna pester them all the time.
so it,
Oh, I see where you're at.
yeah, that's it, it's on between Acres and the,
Yeah, it's on Acre Street, front's Acres.
just to the north of the carriage
Yes.
Yeah.
house.
Gotcha.
Well, that'll be cool that if you could get,
That would be lovely. I'm hoping that'll be part of the Norman Forward stuff. This
it's
is
like
our
$10,000 a
yes.
spot right now, is
No, I don't know that expensive, probably about 5.
5,000.
That'd be your accessible spots too. We could make a van accessible spot and then have a path across the alley to get to the ramp, to get up to the front
Yeah,
porch, to get
That would
in.
be lovely too, yeah.
You'd be happy to get to pretty steep.
Any other questions?
All right, well,
Thank
thanks
you.
all so much.
Kudos.
If you haven't been, come visit us anytime, I'll give you a tour.
Awesome.
It's my favorite thing to
Thank
do,
Been
so.
there since 1880,
$18.99. Oh yeah, we're planning a big celebration next summer for Tartan Day, which is in, April, I believe. Don't quote me on that. The Lindsay family is Scottish and it's our 125th. No, it's our 50th anniversary of being a museum, I
Yeah.
believe is what it is. 125th would be this year.
We do have a contract
So.
approved that's 50 years old too.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
50-year-old lease. So yeah, come to Tartan Day. I'll try to remember to send everybody details when it happens, but, all right, thank you.
I like that.
Next item is Norman Forward update.
Thank goodness we have wound down Norman Forward. There's only a few things going on, neighborhood park upgrades. We did open up Bentley Park this last month. A great show up. It was a combination of our neighborhood friends coming there to celebrate the park and a celebration of our former park director Lionel Bentley's life. I would say there was well over 100 people there.
Oh, yeah,
I think
yeah.
we're
Yeah,
at 200.
But everything out there is really cool. If you haven't gone and checked it out, it has an awesome walking trail. Our first neighborhood park with pickleball playground is awesome. And even my kiddo, and we gave out Hot Wheels there, but my kid was entertained by the little Hot Wheel track near the slide, and so it's really cool. And I've heard compliments not only from people that live in those connecting neighborhoods, but there's a lot of people on that side of town that happy there's another park in Ward 5. So make sure you go check it out. It's really cool, and we like it. And there's a nice memorial right when you get into the park with Lionel. So Saxon Park, we're working towards 60% drawings on that. We haven't quite gotten that there yet. That is our next big project that we have coming up. I would think we got the schedule back and we have 60% back. I'm guessing this fall they're looking, hopefully we can go out to bid towards the end of the year. We also have to coordinate Saxon Park. There is a new road, Saxon Boulevard, that's gonna go right through there. Or not Boulevard, is it Boulevard?
No,
Centurion.
Centurion Parkway.
It's there, you go, Parkway. I don't know how I didn't remember that. But we're working with Public Works and we kind of came up with a solution a few weeks ago. It's better for them to go ahead and finish out that public road before we even start bidding out the park process, because we'll able to get utilities up there, sewer and water. Hopefully it'll be connected at that point, and it will drastically bring down some of our costs. So we were working separately to build a road. So we were gonna build a section of road and they were gonna build the connecting road. And then at some point, a light went off. It's like, well, Public Works builds roads. Why don't we just let them build that whole road? So we had that meeting and kind of working on the coordination of that. Our neighborhood parks that we are currently working on and working on links. We're gonna get
Survey out
neighborhood.
to Links, that's the new one we're gonna build down by Links Apartments by the South Walmart. Gonna do a little renovation at William Morgan. It's kind of been bumped down the road a couple of years in a row. So we're finally gonna get around to renovating that little park over there on the west side, just behind the movie theaters there off of 36. And then gotta do some horse trading with the schools to figure out the shape of the land around 12th Avenue and Eisenhower and Northeast Lions, because Northeast Lions Park is gonna be the next one that gets a playground renovation and all that. It's our most vandalized, probably least structurally still intact playground, because we have to just keep removing things. It's damaged so bad. So we'd like to maybe move that play equipment over to High Meadows Park, which is that triangular park next to Eisenhower. But we don't technically own all that, et cetera, et cetera. We gotta do some land swapping to make one, because technically High Meadows then would connect to Northeast Line and be one big park. We essentially would lose High Meadows Park in name and it just become all part of Northeast Line. So William Morgan on the west side, Northeast Line's on the east side, Links on the south side. And
At Northeast Lions, is there like Outlander stones or Stonehenge or something?
oh,
out
that's
there?
on the disc golf course. They built they call it a little mini Stonehenge
Okay.
obstacle. You got to throw around it to get the 18 basket. But yeah,
Okay.
it was a little stone thing that the disc golfers built a few years ago.
Okay, well, I saw that and I was kind of like,
Yeah. Oh, those
that
disc
didn't
golfers.
used to be there. And
Those
I was like,
wacky, nutty disc golfers. So yeah, it's almost like mini golf at that point. It's like, oh, you gotta get through the lighthouse to get the basket. So
yeah, if y'all haven't seen it, I mean, it looks like the
it's a
Outlander
riot.
stones even and everything like that, so, yeah, I was just.
So yeah, that's for those neighborhood parks, and then we're doing little things here and there in every park, upgrading furnishings, adding a pavilion here and there if we need one, but William, Earl's needing these little drainage work, so just little things here and there also every year.
And to give you a little heads up that something might come down the pipeline, Lions Park, in that Sunday that we got about 5-6 inches of rain.
The carpet come up again.
Yeah, the Tots playground, every single time we get a really hard rain, it just basically makes our turf out there float. And so it comes unhinged on there. So we've had talks internally, haven't really got any approval of that, but it is eventually on the list of Norm 4 playgrounds to get redone at some point. So what we're thinking about is moving that one farther up the list and exchange it like we have done with a few other playgrounds, knock a playground back a year or so and put that at a higher priority to kind of get that out of the flood area, because every 2 or 3 years spending $3,000 to $4,000 to get that carpet reattached is kind of wasteful. So hopefully we can figure that out.
Does William Morgan still have that
Boardwalk, yes.
boardwalk decking and,
Mhm.
okay.
I was on it
Yep, that'll
a couple
stay.
weeks ago. It's still there.
And it's sound.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen that, been up there?
It's a riot. It's awesome. We built it with the Conservation Commission. It's a boardwalk built in the muck of the pond and everything. And on one side it's all cattails and bullfrogs, and the other side it's deep. It's really deep because the commercial next door dug it out
You
deep.
walk
So you can
out
fish
into
in
the
that one
middle of the
side,
pond
and
on
there's
this boardwalk.
bats and wildlife and muskrat, and it's
Google
a
William
wild
Park and
land in a little neighborhood. And but the
We're
boardwalk,
looking at what?
it worries some people because it doesn't have a rail on one side. When it's
William
gonna fall
Morgan
in,
Park.
it's actually built for like dip netting and for outdoor classroom stuff. So it's a fun little boardwalk.
It's over where, behind where Dotson's used to be off of 36th and.
I think that's one I've not been in yet. Gonna have to go over
It's
there.
come off of 36.
Yeah.
Right behind Philip Parker, Dr. Parker's Also, so you go basically behind.
There's a
that,
trail
know
that
where
you
you're
can
Brookhaven
walk
talking.
Swamp,
in
yeah,
there.
Brookhaven
Yeah, but we
Creek
don't own
Swamp
all
is all
that
along
trail,
there.
and there's like a tree falling across it. and stuff.
Yeah.
I know
Oh,
sometimes
gosh.
I had, the time I went on it, somebody had just taken those pallets and made little
Yeah, that's on the private
footbridges over
side, that's
the.
actually a private sidewalk, I mean, not
Okay.
private,
Oh, how funny.
it's a sidewalk that was built
Yeah.
on private land, it's like public access, but it's not
I'll
owned
have
by
to go
us.
check that one out.
But
They're
you
very
can get to
distinct
the
sign.
boardwalk from the park itself though, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay,
That's
that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
easiest way to
Walk in
access,
the
that's why
park.
I was saying, I'd go
You
to
know
the,
where they're talking
Go to the
what's
park.
that
and-
road?
It's Schooner Drive.
Schooner Drive.
Just go to Schooner Drive and you park along the street and just walk right in, and it's, you know, 50 feet from the
Where that
curb
funeral
into
is,
the
take a
boardwalk.
right.
Any questions about Northern Florida projects for us? And we're, hopefully we'll be closing out, both Griffin and adult wellness and education this upcoming council meeting. Construction closeout, final payments to the contractors.
The flower, where are we at? on the
Yeah.
flower?
Yeah.
Flower just actually, got delivered
This
to park maintenance
Oh,
this
okay.
week.
I know they
Uh,
poured the pad and everything.
It's damaged a little bit, so we're probably gonna,
It looked like it just knocked some of the powder coating off, cause it went to Maine and got separated from the petals, that was a whole ordeal.
That's right.
Yeah, and then, so it just got here this week and the pallet had been, they said it was pretty mangled.
So soon.
this
Was
is
that the
ours
one that got
has
hung up in
most
customs
of it.
too?
Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
That
yeah,
thing's
they sent it to Maine
had
for
an
some reason.
adventure.
Yeah. Should make a Disney movie out of it.
We got his passport.
Yeah.
Okay, are we
It has a
responsible for
story.
the new piece? I know, Public Works did the new sculpture, but are you responsible for maintaining?
Yeah, we inherited, the art piece along with the roundabout, so we'll be maintaining that.
Did I?
The new one,
Legacy.
on a
Yeah.
flood?
James Garner flood.
Oh, yeah.
I was driving by down Flood one morning early and I go, what's that Doppler truck doing parked there in the middle of
Yeah.
Flood Street? Cause
We
it looked
could-
like a Doppler.
We call it the portal, so that's where all our new five-star
Coming off
athletes are
James
coming
Garner, you
through.
go fast enough
Stargate.
the right angle.
Right.
You go right through.
So,
How
and then I
funny.
noticed
haven't
the
come
other
up that
night
angle
or
yet.
the other day, is early in the morning, is red lights on it?
It's LED
Will
lit, so we
those
can,
change, will they
Do they
change?
change?
we can change the colors on it.
Okay, that's why I was, I mean, that was my question about that. I saw that, I go, these are red, cause it was, must have been the Friday morning.
Yeah,
of the
right now we got them lit up red to match football games.
Football, okay, that's why I noticed it that Friday morning for that
It
first
is
football
cool
game.
at night. I mean,
So that's pretty cool. Any other normal forward stuff? Okay. Item 7, department updates.
Before we go into everything that the divisions are doing, this, I know that y'all have some invites sitting on your list. I want to make sure that we're clear on that. So we're working on our AIM Park Master Plan, meeting. So this upcoming Tuesday, we have a joint park board along with the AIM Subcommittee joint meeting. That will start at 4:30 and it's scheduled to go till 6:30. We just scheduled 2 hours for that. I don't know if it'll take that long necessarily, but that's in the Development Center Conference Room A. We would love for everybody to, that's the big one.
In the other building.
Yes.
The old library.
Yeah, so it would be great for y'all to come and join that and give your input. Eventually, they'll come back to you to, after it goes to committee, eventually it'll come back to the park board for a recommendation and approval for council before they get final approval on that. October park board meeting, where we have, is not gonna have the park master plan as planned, where we got a little bit out of order and we got corrected by the main committee for AIM. They want, like I said, they want you to have final approval before it goes to council. So we're not gonna talk about it in October, it'll be more likely in January, February range. when y'all get it. And that will be a final version when you hear it.
What was
Next time.
canceled on October 3rd?
yeah.
That meeting,
I canceled that conference room
Got it.
instead of being over, and it's gonna be back in this.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we still plan on having our regular park board
Because
meeting.
at first I thought.
okay, so
but
we
uh,
then I
are gonna have
realized
our
it was
regular
the room.
at
Sorry, there was something else.
5:30.
Yes.
I knew I was gonna see you, so I'm like, I'm not gonna email you, I'm gonna see you in a few minutes. I'll make sure I understand what just happened.
Well,
Thank
because
you.
I was getting ready to pull up that, because so the 5:30 to 7:30 meeting is not gonna happen. Right? We're just doing, well, yeah,
It's not gonna be a joint meeting
it's just a regular, okay.
or a special board meeting.
But we're still having our AIM meeting at
Yeah, you'll be
3.
there all day, Cheryl.
Okay.
Get ready for it.
Well, just 3 o'clock, or unless they move that meeting time.
That starts at 1, right?
No, next week starts at 1.
If you're
Subcommittee's at
talking
1.
about the subcommittee in October, I'm not sure about that.
So,
one.
October, there's only park board meetings. There's no
For
other
us.
meetings.
Okay.
For us.
For you.
Yeah, for you, forever. And there's not a subcommittee meeting, as far as I know, in October either. So it's only park board, nothing else. 5:30 on its regular first Thursday of the month.
Okay, but we are having an AIM meeting at 3 to 4.
I think this next one is our
They're gonna
last AIM
cancel it.
meeting.
Okay.
I don't think they're having another one.
We'll know Tuesday.
Yep.
Okay.
I think we're already over on the amount of meetings we're supposed to have. I might be wrong, though. I've been wrong before.
Okay.
Go ahead. Anybody else? Someone's-
Well, as Jason was saying, we had with Lions Park and the big rain, we've been spending a lot of time this month. We had, I think, 5 playgrounds that also, like, just the mulch washed out, so we spent quite a bit of time getting those back in. A lot of our trails in some of the areas, we had some washout that we've been working on, along with trying to keep up with the mowing that all that rain helped us with. And then a couple of park events, and other than that, it was pretty straightforward with all those, because you just you get a day where you get caught up in mowing and you throw everybody to try to get mulch out or try to get cleanup. There was a lot of cleanup from that storm, because we had quite a bit of water in that restroom at Lions Park as well, and anywhere where we had a bridge, it had debris all over it from in the creeks and stuff, so
We had a park bench that was kind of down by the,
moved.
yeah, it actually had debris everywhere over the top of it. So that's how high the water's got in Lions.
Yeah.
Nothing damaged at Andrews?
I don't think so.
Andrews has done pretty well lately.
Well, I was just surprised at the amount of rain. I mean, I remember at one point when I was there that there was, water had gotten up onto the slab under the building, so, but I didn't know if it had gotten any deeper.
I don't think so. Lucky on Andrews.
Well, summer is wrapping up here. It's Westwood Pool is winding down as we go, so pretty much summer's done, even though it doesn't feel it right now. Westwood's wrapping up there. We still have some extended season hours all the way till September 27th. These are just the lap times, water walking, things like that there in the morning. But they do have a couple events going on this through September. September 6th, we've got an adult night for a season after party. So come out to that, good fun event. And September 13th, they're doing a scuba dive night. So it's really fun to see all the scuba people that you have to have your certification and everything. They come out there, and this one's a little more themed, and it's just I don't know, it's goofy, but I love it. It's really cute. Also,
Are they gonna have Scuba Doo snacks?
I hope they have Scuba Doo, and I hope Scuba Steve comes too. That's-
We didn't pre-plan that joke, so.
Yeah, we rehearse every time.
It's obnoxious.
Could have been better. Thank you.
Notice none of us staff laugh.
In September, with having 4 home games throughout September, event season's a little lighter on this end. We do have a couple things planned. We partnered with the Pioneer Library System to do Hispanic Heritage Celebration out at Andrews Park, September 13th around 6 o'clock. There will be an elote truck, some performers, music, fun, games, activities, and just a little bit of information, and just people come together and recognize, celebrate, and have a good time, because September is Hispanic Heritage Month. September 20th, we got a couple things going on. First off, we've got Falls Lakeview ribbon cutting. So we'll be doing that in the morning at 10 a.m. That's to help with the Lakeview school there that's right next to it. We're going to have some people come over, and yeah, it's the playground dedication. So it's not a whole new park or anything like that, but with moving forward, we were able to update some of the park playground equipment. So we'll be doing a ribbon cut playground dedication. That's the official title.
Right.
Yeah.
So will it be during the day with the
Yeah,
it
so it'll be
full?
10 o'clock on a
Okay.
Friday, so if you could make it out, it'd be great to have you guys out there. I know it's a little bit of a drive, but should be
My
fun.
swim time.
A bunch of kids are going. So that's your swim time.
Or my
Sorry,
swim-
can't make
I
it.
have to cut my swim time short.
Yeah, no. Also, September 20th, Brewtoberfest is going to be out at Reeves Fest, Reeves Park. That is a bunch of the breweries around town get together. It's actually their event that we just help kind of promote and do, a few things here and there, mostly Wade, because Wade does half my stuff, so thanks, Wade. I'm just doing
Reeves, I
it.
think he said.
Finally, September 27th, we're wrapping up. We've got the United Way Golf Tournament over at the golf course. It's a great thing to benefit United Way. We want to have as many people out there. So if you're not, if you're interested in putting in a team, please come out. This year we might have some more fun things like the dunk tank, or we'll have something else cool with that. So come on out. That's all I've got.
Awesome.
Me?
Yeah.
You mentioned most of them that we're getting done. Working on also reviewing plans for the nature park coming up. Bethany's working a lot on that. We've sent back a lot of feedback to them for some of the informational signage that's gonna be there, and just kind of tweaking all that so they can get us to construction documents as well and get that one going out to bid. How'd that one fare in the flood? Did we do okay in that, the nature park? I saw our fence is
There's
kind of,
nothing really there.
yeah. No, our fence is kind of bent down on one side. I don't know if that was something that we need to, working with forestry, calling our forester, we are out to bid right now we have an RFQ out for services to do a wildfire preparedness plan. We got a grant from the state to help us with that, so that's something that's gonna be super vital to a lot of interests. All the things that happen in Maui, all the things that, you don't realize you don't have a plan until you realize you don't have a plan. But we're working well with the fire department. They're gonna help us identify, potential fuel risks in all the different sectors of town. So that's exciting, that's getting done. We also are starting a kickoff next week with the Urban Forest Master Plan. They just completed a tree inventory of all of our parks, most of our parks and public spaces. So we'll use some of that data plus some of the things we learned from our ordinance and everything about where we're counting, what we're doing, and how to manage trees. So big process to produce an urban forest master plan, which will help guide Colin and all the other foresters we're gonna hire in the future and all the work they're gonna do. Working on, like I said, on Saxon, on Lynx, on all of our park development plans. It's sort of the year of planning. We're finishing up AIM. We also have our Westwood Golf and Tennis Master Plan that we're working with GSP Architects. We have a meeting coming up with them to review that next step and getting a plan put together that we can cost estimate and bring to you all to see, and just like we did with Andrews Park, say, here's what potentially a Norman Forward budget would be for this thing, and it would look like this, so we're working towards that. A lot of planning efforts going on. Just finishing up a lot of older projects. We finished up Sutton, got it closed out, and cleaned up all the parking lot over there in Sutton Wilderness. I don't know if we'll do another phase of work over there, maybe, who knows? We talked to the National Fitness Campaign people about maybe getting some more fitness courts in the future, planning for those. We identified some spots around town where they have grants they also offer to help you do that. Do you have any other plans working on with any other departments? It seems like there's something else I'm forgetting. I can't think of.
No, I mean, utilities and stormwater have been looped in on the nature park,
Yeah.
so that's.
Correct, it's just a lot of planning this year. I'd love to work on some projects. But like I said, we're gonna work on the pickleball projects. We're gonna have a pre-work meeting coming up with that out there at the 6 courts out at YFAG. Jason undersold it. We're also gonna try and build volleyball courts out there, sand volleyball. So, and prep for that. So that's another good thing that we're building out there.
We lost our sand volleyball courts at Reeves, so this is our chance to put them back in.
We didn't lose, I know they went at those. And working with Optimus also, so speaking of Reeves, we're working on finalizing plans to get another version of the public restrooms over there on the playground. Also want to start looking at ideas to get a shop building for the Optimus Club to run the baseball, softball league over there and be able to store materials and equipment on site, and some other things to tidy up the field usage over there. They're pretty happy with the way their programs are growing. Doing their game day parking also, we worked that out with them. That's not my thing. So yeah, we're just working on a lot of planning and some construction.
So, Optimus, do they have the whole Olive Reed's parking lot, or just that
No,
softball
so-
side parking lot?
So they get to go out there, we give them a permit to ask for donations in exchange for parking. So if somebody comes up and does not want to make the donation, they still have to give the parking spot to that person. We do, not that it matters, because usually these spots will be taken by somebody on the football game anyways, but we do try to reserve spots around kid space, just in case there is somebody that's trying to bring their kiddo there just to play on the playground. But pretty much every other spot in the park is given permission to Optimus for a donation. And I believe they're charging $20 a spot.
The max they're allowed to charge.
Is that on game day or is that for their own games?
Just on game day.
Like OU game?
Yeah.
Yeah, they sell
Okay.
OU
Football
parts.
game day.
Football game
Yeah.
days.
Now it makes sense.
Are they getting?
OU
I was picturing their
let's-
own
let's give
games.
Chris a-
free
I was very
parking on their
confused for a
own.
minute. No, I was like, what?
OU football.
I understand. I
Game day.
totally understand. Yeah. I
And they might be might get more when the SEC does it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And did you say the sand volleyball's going in at YFAC?
Yes, we
Okay.
have, is it 2 or 4 courts at YFAC?
It was originally 4 in the master plan. We reduced it to 2. They were to fit into a certain
Sure.
footprint we want it out there, and to a cost reduction, because we don't have as much money as we thought we would at the end of the project to finish this.
Yeah.
So cost cutting and footprint fitting,
Yes.
2 courts.
Say that 3 times fast.
That's a double.
Yeah.
I saw a post yesterday, don't know where it was, with all the different programming for the Trae Young.
Yeah, so they are kicking up, and Mitchell can probably hop into this, so it's a little difficult over there, YFAC during summer, because a lot of our swim, Josh is, which is our pool supervisor, has double duties. He oversees all the aquatics in the city of Norman, so his main focus during the summer is Westwood. So now he's finally get to kick off programming at YFAC without anything in his way.
So a lot of it, you'll see a lot more aquatics programming coming through. It's one of those things that, one, yes, it's Josh's ability, and we also have a program coordinator out there, Erica Rainey. She's fantastic. But with that, we don't want to cannibalize Westwood at the same time. So we don't want to push a lot of programming out of YFAC during the summer months, but we'll see also when the winter comes and cold weather comes, you're going to see a lot more programming.
So that'll be switching seasonal then back and forth between Westwood and
Yeah.
Just during the summer.
during the summer.
Yep, so you'll just kind of see it ramp down. We don't need to have swim lessons filling up. We don't need to have swim lessons competing at the same time.
Right.
Yep. And we're having, more programming coming through with the basketball side as well. We started the Trae Young Academy. So this will be kind of a in-between club team setup to where they just had tryouts, so they're just forming these teams and everything, but it'll be a nice next level situation with the leagues and some tournament play and next level skill development.
And I guess that was my question, because I was looking through the programming schedule, and it was the basketball that came to mind, that basketball courts were open all the time, and I'm sitting there going, but what about league play nights?
Yeah, so it's what we really want to do as we push memberships. We want to make sure that we are hoping and trying. Court space is always valuable, but have 1 to 2 courts available at all times for members.
Okay.
So even if we have league play going on, if you're a member and you purchased a pass, you can come in there, shoot, play around.
Even if, that was where
Yes.
I was going with that, because I was going, well, doesn't this kind of conflict with leagues? And so that
Yeah,
was-
and so we
so I was
want to
gonna ask.
provide that as we go through. I mean, we have multiple partners and leagues and a ton of activities going on there at the YFAC. Court space is, tight, which is a great thing. It's not a bad problem to have, but we're always going to want to try to make sure we have at least 1 court available for our members.
And then that was, because I know like on the swimming, it said 1 lane, 4 lanes, so many available, and I was looking and I thought, when it got to basketball, it's, I would go in there and put 1 court or,
Yeah. Well, it's also with the basketball one, it is varied as we go through.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't have leagues going on.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are doing a wonderful job. I think.
Those guys are killing it.
Any other miscellaneous, now we're at miscellaneous items, so I guess we just discussed miscellaneous items. Does anybody have any other miscellaneous items? Public comments, well, obviously we have no public here, so we're